Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is the co-founder and CEO of Vitalobliss. Please welcome Steve Raack. Steve Raack is a performance-driven senior executive with deep experience delivering top and bottom line results in mature businesses and startups. He is a proven leader of growth programs at industry-leading companies. He has a strong background in strategy, business development, fundraising, operations, finance, product development, customer service technology and distribution, and organizational improvement. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for Steve Raack.
I'm going to move like that for you. So I think you got that off of LinkedIn or something. Thanks so much. Vitalobliss. It's a tough name, right? Vitality through cannabis. We got it for $8 on GoDaddy because nobody knew what it was. So any of you that have tried to actually create a business and find a business that actually has social media and everything available, it's kind of hard. So Vitalobliss comes from that. Real quick, show of hands. Is that marijuana or is that hemp? Anybody? No idea. How many marijuanas? How many hemps? Can't see hardly anybody. Yeah, right? Well, you probably knew because we're a CBD company. This is causing part of the problem with the regulators. You can't tell. It's the same plant, right? So cannabis sativa, those different things, it's the same plant. It comes down to certain elements of the plant. So when the regulators or the authorities find a truck full of this stuff that's dried, they don't know if it's a marijuana plant or a hemp plant. So this is one of the challenges. On the left-hand side, that's what hemp used to look like. For years and years and years, it was tall, stringy little things because they were going after the fiber. Textiles, ropes, sails. In the 1600s, you would actually have to grow hemp. You can pay your taxes with hemp because we needed it for sails and ropes for our ships and everything like that. And so this used to be a crop that also farmers would go out into the middle of nowhere and actually get land and grow hemp because hemp is, or cannabis is what's called a phytoremediator. It goes down into the ground and it pulls impurities out of the ground into the plant so that you wouldn't eat it. You wouldn't consume it because it had heavy metals and toxins and different things from the ground into it. But then they would go plant their corn and their carrots and stuff after they grew hemp. They would take that crazy long, thin hemp and move it again like into proteins and different things like that. On the right-hand side, those flowers of goodness, that's really where it's at. So for a long time, people would say, I get my CBD from the seed. You're like, not really. I get it from the stalk and the stem. Not really. You're really getting it from the flower. This is a very different conversation that we've had, presentation that we have so far, right? So that's what our whole concept is, to educate, to give ideas that it's progressing, that hemp is moving forward, and it's really in these beautiful plants that's out there. Cannabis is like the parent, where hemp and marijuana are the two kids, right? But CBD and THC are the two cannabinoids that people talk about, right? But there's over 100 cannabinoids in that plant. There's actually over about 450 elements in the cannabis plant. So when we only talk about one, it's like that beautiful plant has so much more value to it, but we only talk about CBD and THC. Hemp really is categorized 0.3% THC or less. Marijuana is more on the medicinal recreational side, 15-20% THC. THC is the only element in the plant that actually makes you high, right? So there's cannabinoids, there's CBG, CBN, all kinds of in the leaves, so you can see some of them. And one of the kind of a cool talking point too is that THC and CBD start out as acids, and they need heat to actually move over into the element. So if you were to go out there and chew on raw cannabis, you wouldn't get high, because you would need heat to convert it over to THC. So just some background information on that. So these are some, I don't know, headlines, you know. All of a sudden, CBD came out of nowhere, right? It was like no one talked about it, and then it was this $22 billion industry, and Rolling Stone. What did that do? That actually flooded the market with CBD companies, right? So one of the challenges out there is you as consumers don't really know what you're taking, right? Because they use what's called certificates of analysis and so forth. You don't necessarily know how to read those. You don't have a C of A for your nutritional products. You don't have a C of A for your turkey that you buy at the store. You don't have these scientific quality kind of things that are out there. Now the consumer's like, what's in this thing? What's it all about? And so thousands of brands entered the market, and everyone's talking about CBD full spectrum. Does anybody know the difference between isolate and full spectrum? Some of you. So that's part of the challenge, is that most people don't understand what they're putting in their body. And we'll have people come up to us and say, oh my God, I'm taking this amazing CBD soft gel and I'm sleeping like a baby. And you're like, what else is in it? 10 milligrams of melatonin. Of course you're sleeping like a baby, but it does help you. But CBD, one of the things that people don't realize, CBD doesn't actually fix the sleep issue. CBD brings your body into what's called homeostasis that allows your body then to take care of what it needs to take care of. So most people think CBD is causing me this. CBD is bringing you into what's called an endocannabinoid system inside your body. Say that really fast, endocannabinoid system. You weren't taught that in school. It wasn't discovered until the 1990s, right? So endocannabinoid system has receptors all over your body, and it's looking for CBD, THC, cannabinoids, those types of things, if you naturally make them inside your body. So when a mother is breastfeeding her baby and the baby gets that food coma, oh, I'm done, right? That's actually naturally produced cannabinoids inside the mother's breast milk that's allowing the baby to chill out, process the food, relax. So it's not that CBD is causing it, it's allowing the system to actually go to homeostasis and balance itself, and then you can move the body forward. So when you're looking at CBD products out there, just be careful. There's a lot of junk on the market, and here's kind of why. So when this craze went nuts, right, it went everywhere, there's these really large extractors out there. And there's, I would call them 5 to 7 major extractors, and there's a whole bunch of small regional and state ones. They're pumping out a ton of product, a ton of oil. And they're saying, come to me. The bottom little picture is actually from an email. Come to me, bring your little labels to me, 100 units, and you'll be in the CBD business. Before it was like, how do you get a credit card process, or how do you, we'll get to that second. But all of a sudden it flooded the market because people could just get a couple labels, put their labels on a product, and be in the CBD business. That's really what started happening in the last couple of years. They've never been to an extractor. They've never been to a grower. They don't know where that stuff is coming from. They're believing some dude in a strip mall in Vegas putting some stuff on a product that's also labeling 70, 80, 100 other brands. That's kind of what happened in the space. So I give you a little background on it because I want you to understand that part of this is a challenge that we have as an industry, is education. The current state, thousands of brands, major regulatory risks. There's a ton of these brands out there saying CBD will fix my anxiety. CBD will fix your pain, CBD for nausea, CBD for cancer, CBD for Parkinson's. See, that's actually not a legal statement to make. So brands that are making those statements, we're a very conservative brand, so we have to focus way more on education than we do on medical structure function claims. Anybody understand that concept from the dietary supplement skincare business? It's really dangerous. So FTC is coming after these brands because they're making these structure function claims, and they're saying, how can you substantiate that with your oil? Oh, I can't. I've not done the clinicals. I can't do that, right? So that's the next stage that's going to happen in the regulatory environment. And then years ago, traditional marketing, you couldn't do Facebook ads and Google ads. That's starting to loosen up a little bit, especially for topicals, anti-aging skincare with CBD in it. So other different topicals are out there. For the most part, you can't do the same type of driving activity to your website because you can't do the traditional marketing avenues. So what did we do? Knowing that we had to educate a lot of people, knowing that we had to take, education takes about 10 times the cost and time to bring in those customers, right? It takes a lot of effort to do that. We went after Magento Enterprise as our solution, and DCKAP, thanks so much. They actually helped us put it in place. And just like Karthik said this morning, our first version of the website went in. We constantly are trying to tweak and update and change the content and move the business forward. We also looked at influencer and ambassador marketing. We found that was okay if it was authentic. If it wasn't authentic, it didn't do anything. So we actually have a person that posted with about 1 million followers across multiple channels. It drove 3 sales in a very hot industry. In a very hot industry, it drove 3 sales. So those are not always the answers. You want to get to the authentic side of things. So we moved down into what we call peer-to-peer, and I'll walk you through what we did technology-wise in a little bit. Again, DCKAP has been our major partner in all these things. The peer-to-peer side we'll talk about in a minute. So what did we do? We took our Magento enterprise system. Obviously, we have the social media stuff. We have our digital tools that are in the works. And then what we did is we started to create what's called a micro, macro, nano influencer strategy. Macro influencers, we partnered with the Bruce Lee family. So that activation just started happening yesterday. 25 million followers on social, 400,000 email addresses, that kind of stuff. But Bruce Lee authentically used cannabis in his wellness practices. He did chew on it, because he didn't want the THC effects, kind of we talked about before. So we partnered with them. We partnered with Dusty Baker. We partnered with Eric Wright, 4-time Super Bowl champion. We partnered with Nick Boynton, Stanley Cup champion. These are not to just massively drive sales, right? Dusty Baker has very little, if any, social media following. But Dusty Baker can call 2 people and get into a phone call, get into a conversation, get into something. So we use these influencers, not necessarily for sales, but for opening doors, for continuing to move the needle forward. And then we have nano influencers like Madame Chang and Jude Rollins that are on the street. Those are individuals like you and I, have a couple hundred followers, but more importantly, if you educate those individuals, they will continue to educate their friends that this is working for me and this is what it's doing, not making structure function claims on technology and social platforms and so forth, but that's what we've been doing. The second piece is we took our technology and we started allowing doctors to come into our network and buy for 50% off and sell it to their patients. That's been a really valuable thing. The one thing that's been great for us is that doctors are pretty skeptical, but more importantly, they don't want to get sued. So most CBD companies, if you're jumping in the business, they don't have product liability insurance. They don't have the type of issues they don't have the things in place that could actually cause issues for doctors. So doctors love the fact that we have that. And then specialty retail, again, opening doors. CRM and AI stuff are down the road. We just don't have the data for that stuff now, but it's coming. So here's the kind of technology big takeaway that's a little bit different for us. We started doing our peer-to-peer model, again, with the nano micro influencers. So everybody that comes to our model gets a unique URL and a unique code that they can give to their friends and family and share to them. Those codes track back into our system and says, okay, great, this person gets 20% of that commission. This person gets 5% commission. This person gets 10% commission. So what we did is we looked at all the challenges in the CBD space, and then we looked at technology to try to opportunize that, try to enhance that and make it more efficient. And we said people are sharing social currencies there. MLM businesses are not super in fashion. That business is, in my opinion, dying in the US. I come from that space. Influencer marketing, affiliate marketing on one person to person is great. We decided to go kind of in the middle as a hybrid model, a 2-level compensation model, influencer model with 2 levels below it, and that's it. No structures, no craziness. And as we were building that conversation, I've been lucky enough to be on advisory panels for lots of companies, large and small, and every time you start talking about, they go, okay, that makes sense. That's the new evolution. So we did this with AWS. Don't ask me all the technology. I have to get the guy up here to do that. But it's really powerful, and it tracks all the orders. Think of it as Ancestry.com, but it tracks orders and does automatically full commission payouts in real time. And they can log in behind the scenes and see it. When we started to do that business, we're like, wow, this might be a really pretty awesome technology. We did go ahead and SaaS enable it. And as of Monday, we launched our first SaaS client on that technology. It's a fashion brand for all you ladies that want to get into, side gigs on the fashion. It's called Stylevate. Pretty cool project. But that's what we did on a technology standpoint. And then lastly, I wanted to leave some time for questions and so forth. Lastly, this is my daughter, Julia. So Mark talked about purpose this morning. This is why I got in the CBD space. So I was building a beauty company before. Things are going great, but I started to really dislike my daughter because she has special needs, and she was breaking TVs. She was kicking the dog. Couldn't take her on an airplane. Couldn't take her to dinner. She was ruining our family. I took it as a personal thing, and so when 6 years ago or so, well before the concept of Vitalibus, I was introduced to CBD oil for her. She was on 5 pharmaceutical drugs at the time, and I didn't like her. I kind of resented God. I gave up on God for her because I'm like, there's no way that anyone would be given a child like this. Finally went to a conference, gave her some CBD oil, laid across her, pinned her chin open, dropped it in her mouth, and literally 15 minutes later, she actually said a full sentence. She said, "I'm so sorry, Dad." And I said, I was sweating because I was pinning her down. I was pissed at her. "I'm so sorry, Dad." And I was like, whoa, this girl has only said one-word sentences for her, at that point, 11, 12 years of her life. She's 17 now. And so I was like, she used to say, tired, hungry, mad, whatever. "I'm so sorry, Dad." And I said, whoa, what is going on? The only thing that was different when I just shoved some oil in your mouth. And then it worked again the next day. And so if you're a special needs parent, 2 good days are like gold. Right? You never get 2 good days, right? So I believed in this plant. I believed in this opportunity. I hated the quality. I thought it was the lowest end of the lowest end of the lowest end. And so when I found a really good organically grown plant, again, no heavy metals because they pull it out of the ground, I found a certified organic extractor that doesn't use chemicals or CO2 to extract this plant. Beautiful, beautiful oil. Started schlepping it with people in Newport Beach. "You got a problem? Here, try this oil." "You got a problem? Try this oil." And then we turned it into a business. So tying it all back, the major reason why I'm here and standing on this stage, Karthik asked, but also, like, I want to share this story, and I want to tell people what we're doing and how we're doing it. And if we can be of benefit on a technology standpoint, if we can be of benefit on how we stumble our toes in marketing, how we challenge each other, I just wanted to say, and we're here. Definitely want to remove the ego side of what used to be Steve Raack and put it out there and say, I now know why I was given a special needs child, and I now know why CBD came into my life. And for that, I wanted just to share with you that piece, and that is my purpose. So tying it all back with some of the folks today, Karthik, yes, iteration 1 of the website's out. It's done, but it's not. We continue to go. And 2, a great product, but more importantly, a passion. But I appreciate your time and letting me share that today with you. And if there's anything I can do personally on any part of our business or anything that I can open up, I'm available to you, LinkedIn, whatever. After this, my email is up there too. So we have 3 minutes. Questions, comments, thoughts, answers, yeah.
For building this organization that you built. I didn't really quite get the part of the technology because I entered to the website, I see you sell products, oils, small bottles, right? That's the format. But tell me if I understood also that there's some sort of technology that you sell.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to learn more about that.
Yeah, so when you enroll on our website, $20 for 20% fee. $20 for 20% off our products. It could be just a wholesale buying club, no problem. Behind the scenes, we're tracking the lineage. So if you said, "Oh my gosh, this is a great company," you enroll using my code or my email, my URL. It now links to you behind the scenes to me, right? So think of it as ancestry.com with referral, who referred who. So we always know who referred who. I think Mark was also talking about Amazon, where Amazon doesn't give the customer information up. We do. We own all of our customer information. So why would we outsource an affiliate marketing program to somebody else? We want to control that ourselves. And so what we did is we had so many brands. I was advising about 7 companies before I started Vitalibus, and the majority of those companies wanted that type of technology that I was building. So I went ahead and SaaS enabled it. So basically what you see is the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes that tracks orders, who's connected to who, how much commissions are going out. It's all 100% done, and it's very efficient. And so then it cuts out checks every month as well at the end of the month.
So it's kind of multi-level marketing.
Without the multi-level, it's only 2 levels.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think multi-level marketing has got challenges coming to it. So multiple companies are under investigation at this point. So I think you can't make money so far down without having some kind of a challenge. So if you keep it 2 levels up, you should be fine. So our model is, for, again, a fashion company. We don't want to replace your front end. We just want to say, here's how you enroll, and here's how you pay and connect people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool, yeah. Any other questions? It's hard to see. No? All right, well, you got 41 seconds back. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I get to do.
Another round of applause for Steve Raack, please. Inspiring story.